Hello.
Oh, are we on?
Boo Crew. Yes,
Boo
we are
Crew?
on. And of course, now that we went live, Freya wants to play with the ball. So, yeah.
I just want to let everybody know I got dressed up for this occasion.
He did. Since we're visible this time, he wanted to look his dapperest.
Yes. I even combed my hair.
Anyway, I am the Ghost Keeper, Jane, and we forgot we're supposed to be looking at the camera,
yeah.
not at
Hi,
the
guys.
computer.
How are you? Hey,
I'm
welcome.
the Ghost Keeper, Jane, and this is...
I'm the Ghost Keeper, Vince, and
That's
welcome to
right.
the Castle of Spirits. We decided to do something different this week. Different from ever before.
Yeah, mostly because I can't get my life in order to record an episode. So out of desperation, I suggested, let's just go live on YouTube.
It was actually my idea.
It was not.
It was my idea.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it?
This part we would normally cut out
All right.
of our podcast.
Yeah, we
but,
would.
You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is tonight you get all of it. Like, all of the garbage that we would usually cut out. So, hopefully, being able to see our shining faces is joy enough for that. I don't know what that would have been cut out. Joy enough for that.
Through the course of recording the podcast over the last couple of years, we've become very good editors. It's very easy to just let your mouth open and words to tumble out.
Yeah.
But to actually splice those together so that we sound like we know what we're doing or what we're talking about, it's a skill, I would say.
It is a skill. Yeah. You'll get to see how inept we actually are. But anyway, Vince, why
Yes.
are you being so stiff? So you know how he talks all like stiff and stilted sometimes in the podcast? I'm always telling him to stop doing that. Turns out he's just as stiff and stilted in person as in audio. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
What I really wanted to do was invite you into our home. We're going to be giving you a grand tour of the house.
No.
Oh, no. We're going to be giving you a tour of the castle basement. No?
Mm-mm.
No, too. But just to let everybody know, this is our little setup here. The flames coming from
Yeah, my head is on fire.
Jane's head are not real.
It won't be on fire all night. It will change.
We've actually got the YouTube channel, our own YouTube channel, playing in the background.
That's pretty narcissistic, isn't it?
Yeah, but it sets the mood.
Maybe.
So,
I mean,
I'm down with
I'm
that.
feeling the mood. So,
Yeah.
so we don't actually have anything real solid planned for today. I thought we could just kind of fly by the seat of our pants. If you want to jump into chat and, share a story with us, something that's happened to you, we can read it, we can talk about it, but
Something spooky.
something spooky,
Not just any random thing.
not just any random thing.
That doesn't make for good...
I don't think me just repeating what you say also makes for good radio or podcast or
It's called podcast,
whatever.
not an internet radio.
But one thing that we have brought up on our show before and then kind of said, oh, maybe we shouldn't go too far into that conversation because that's not what this is about, is movies. As you can tell, we like movies. This is only some of our DVD collection. And yes, we still buy physical DVDs because we like it.
Well, yeah, and the... having come from she changed
Why
the
did
channel.
it turn green? Anyway.
The ghosts are at it already, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Having come from the 80s and the era of physical media, the both of us recognize that it's really important to have your own physical media. I love digital media. Digital media is awesome. I get to keep all my CDs in a storage bin somewhere, but if ever those things should leave, the Pandoras and the Spotifys, or if I should have a computer crash, we want to have those treasures.
Still want to be able to have our movies.
Yeah, so we got our movies here
Yeah.
just in case. And I recommend you do the same thing because they're going to stop making Blu-rays.
This is not a show about physical media, though.
Right.
But we bring up movies every once in a while because what do we love, Vince? We love a good horror movie.
Yes.
You know what we hate?
A bad horror movie.
Bad horror movies. Actually, that's not true. Sometimes we like a bad horror movie.
Yeah, and we've actually, I wanted to talk about, we can talk about a movie right now.
Oh, Freya's feeling left out.
This is Freya, the castle hellhound.
Yeah.
This is the dog that we're always telling you about.
She looks like Zero. We should have named her Zero.
Yeah. I'm wearing a black shirt so you can tell the progression of the show.
Yeah.
This will turn white.
His shirt will be white by the end of the day.
We found this crazy creature.
She was just wandering the halls when we opened the castle doors, and we're like, all right, you can stay. You seem pretty chill.
And she's a boxer. Well, she's an American bulldog / boxer mix.
She's intrusive.
The only boxer part really is her nose. And
thank you.
Not even her eyes or anything like that. So, she knows that she's coming in to save the day.
Okay, get down.
All right.
Anyway, so I wanted to start off, Vince, by asking you a question.
Yes.
What is your number one favorite horror movie of all time? I already know this answer.
I have a default answer. It's called Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's my favorite movie of all time. But that's really mainly because horror is my favorite movie genre, as they call it in France. And I saw Night of the Living Dead when I was about 9 or 10 years old on TV. And in addition to scaring the hell out of me, it also it sort of awakened a desire to be creative.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing cooler, I think, than watching or hearing a show or watching a movie or something that you could probably do better if you had the tools to do better with. And I kind of, I saw it at the time when my likes and my creative mind were coming together, and so that's my favorite movie, horror movie of all time. If you haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, you should. I know that a lot of people haven't.
Yeah, you hear, like, I was like that. I had never seen Night of the Living Dead until you showed it to me, but of course I had heard of it, so it's, just embedded in the zeitgeist, and now she's whining. Sorry. Yeah. And stop making weird... You know what you remind me of?
What?
I keep looking at you, and you're looking at the camera going...
Yeah. The little girl
You remind me of the little girl on...
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
What? So
is... What?
Are you going to tell us what your favorite
horror
movie is?
My favorite horror movie? That's a really hard one for me. Because...
Freya.
I've got a lot of them.
You don't have one that springs to mind automatically?
I might have to say Ghost Story. Just because it's been my favorite, like, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Ghost Story, it's fabulous. It's Alice, how do you say her last name? Krieg. And, what's his name?
Well, John Houseman.
Craig
Wasson. I'm a big
Fred
Craig
Astaire.
Wasson. Craig Wasson was the lead, the lead in Freddy 3. Was it Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors?
Oh, that's right. He was the psychologist or something, right? The psychiatrist.
Wasn't he their teacher? We haven't even seen that movie in a long time, have we?
Yeah, we watched it a couple of years ago.
Oh, no, that's right. He's not a teacher. He's a head shrinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Psychiatrist.
Yes.
That's my favorite Freddy movie, actually. I know that's like sacrilege. Oh, look. Shawn just showed up. We love Shawn.
What's up, Shawn?
Yeah, Mr. Moon is the devil at times. Yes, he really is. I'm sure Mr. Moon will be around shortly. Yeah, what was
we
I?
talking about? Oh, Ghost Story was based on a book by
Peter Straub.
Peter Straub, who is, I think, in my opinion, he's like the Stephen King. He's like Robin to Stephen King's Batman.
Oh, blasphemy!
I've always thought that Peter Straub just missed having the career that Stephen King did because Stephen King came along.
Yeah,
but they're very similar, I think.
They are similar, and they've written books together. But Peter Straub, his writing is, I feel like it's more lyrical. It's a little more poetic than Stephen King. Stephen King is a little bit more like a sledgehammer, where Peter Straub's like an ice pick. Very slow and methodical.
Very well put. But I grew up watching Ghost Story on HBO and stuff like that. But I didn't read the book until, I don't know, the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And the writing between Peter Straub and Stephen King, you compare them inevitably because they wrote The Talisman together.
Yeah, and Black House.
And Black House together. And I thought there were a lot of similarities between Stephen King's Salem's Lot and Peter Straub's Ghost Story.
Interesting.
I
guess I can see that.
So you're really gonna say that Ghost Story is your favorite horror movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not disappointed.
Well, I mean, there's things like The Fog and Prince of Darkness. Those are two more of my very, very favorites, both John Carpenter movies. But it's always been Ghost Story, so it kind of like wins by default.
Well, and that's what we do at the castle. We tell ghost stories.
Do we? Because that's not what we're doing right now. Should we tell a ghost story? Should I just find a random one?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to do on this little special here was to kind of, because we're always selling the website above the podcast that we do. The website castleofspirits.com has been around since 1997, collecting real-life ghost stories from visitors of the website. Jane and I used to frequent the website and try and scare the hell out of each other by dimming the lights and
20 plus years ago.
About 25 years ago or so.
Almost.
And we used to I would sit in front of the computer and turn off the lights, and I'd read her a random story, and she would sit there and try to make it through without getting freaked out.
Oh yeah, because it was so hard.
Yeah,
it's so easy to freak out.
You're so soft core when it comes to horror.
I'm really not.
Anyway. But one of the cool things now we have the website. We were bequeathed the website, and it's just one of those things that's really, really cool. But one of the features of the website is that you can go into the database, into the library on the website, and you can search for certain key phrases. For example, if you wanted a story about poltergeists, you type in poltergeist, and it'll pull up a bunch of stories that deal with poltergeists.
Except that's not what I want.
What, pray tell, do you want?
I'm going to read one of my favorite stories on the website.
Oh.
And it's not very long, but I'm going to read it right meow. Okay. This story is, let's see. I'm all like rusty because I don't ever do this in front of a camera. So give me a second.
Yeah. You got to get into character a little bit, When you're doing a podcast,
this is the kind of stuff that we edit
it's
out.
Serious business.
Okay.
Yeah.
This story is called Wild Eyes, and it was submitted by Anonymous in New York, USA, January of 2000. To think of the look in this person's eyes still gives me the creeps and makes my eyes water with fear to this day. My twin was picking me up at work late one evening. I was at my office finishing a paper for school and all alone in my tiny office in a small business district by an airport strip in the middle of the desert. As we turned out the drive, we followed the last bit of paved road before we hit a traffic light that would lead us to the desert road that we traveled home on. As we approached the light, we were listening to a good Allman Brothers or Santana song and having a good old time singing and grooving and just being teenagers. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a car pull up next to us, the only other one than us on the deserted road, and I casually glanced over Man, that face still haunts me. As I looked over, the person in the car next to us had a very pale, almost translucent face and wild, curly black hair. Her hands were clenched to the steering wheel, and her face was completely turned to face us. She had a disturbing smile, very large white teeth, and the edges of her mouth seemed to engulf the whole bottom portion of her face. Her eyes were hollow black and piercing. I didn't see any whites in them, only large, black, and freaky. I was really scared and told my twin to look over at the person in the car next to us. She freaked out and we took off. The car effortlessly kept pace with us. Each time I looked over, the person was still staring at us, never taking her eyes off of us and not looking at the road from what I could see. The car she was driving seemed to be floating at the same force of speed as ours. We tried to lose her, but couldn't. The tiny dirt road was narrow and bumpy and pitch dark. We finally turned down a side road, and she was gone. To this day, when my sister and I speak of that woman, we get tears in our eyes. Who was she? Why was she smiling so wide? And why were her eyes so dark and piercing and prominent? Sometimes I'll tell the story to friends and try to imitate her face. Kind of wish we had a photo of that, not gonna lie. I freak them out every time. I can't explain what happened. Maybe the lady was just a strange person. Maybe more. So thank you again to Anonymous in New York, USA for submitting Wild Eyes in January of 2000. I love that story so much.
I remember when you read that story the first time, and I think it was on the same episode of the podcast where I told the story that my best friend Glenn told me about his grandfather's experience from back in the ancient days, I guess, back in the 30s or 40s.
In Guam, right?
In Guam.
Yeah.
The family's Guamanian, and they have these sort of like mythological spiritual creatures, beings, I guess, not creatures.
Could be. Maybe they're creatures.
Well, in the same way that you're a creature and I'm a creature.
That was rude.
Some more creature than others.
Anyway.
And they're called the Tatamona. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he said they're like spirits of the ancient ones, I guess.
Yeah. And
a lot of times they come through. Visually, they appear to people as children.
Ooh, like the black-eyed children.
Yes. In this case, his grandfather said that he was driving. He was getting onto the highway, and on the side of the road, before he got onto the on-ramp, there was a child standing by the side of the road that was staring at him. He didn't think much of it, maybe just thinking, what's that kid doing out here playing on the highway? And then as he began to take off and begin to pick up speed, the child started running alongside him.
Ew.
Running alongside the car and staring at him. With an expression, with a really creepy expression that I won't attempt to recreate here because I want you to get creeped out. I don't want you to laugh.
I'm already laughing. So there, Bandaid off. Let's have it.
I mean, maybe it was like this.
He's so easy.
I don't know. Maybe
I
like a really weird smiley face.
Here it comes on the play, so I get this.
Anyway, so what happened was that that's not the fact. We're watching ourselves in on delay, so that's not a good thing to do.
No, we shouldn't
anyway,
be watching.
So as Grandpa's picking up speed, this child is running alongside of him and maintaining pace with the car. He gets it up to like 55 miles an hour because, you know, he's merging, and the child is still at his window.
Maybe it was Marty McFly.
You mean like a hovercraft or no?
Skateboard.
Skateboard.
He was like holding on to the car. Maybe.
Well, I mean, you know, we always
If not, that kid needs to get to the Olympics immediate.
Well, we always talk about Occam's razor, and Occam's razor being sort of the I don't know.
It's
what
the
you call
idea
it.
that the simplest answer is the most
Is often
probably the actual answer,
Right.
the most logical.
It's like you hear a noise at night. Or what was that? Was it a ghost, or maybe did Mr. Moon knock something over?
Yeah, it was
Occam's
definitely
razor,
Mr. Moon.
Moon knocking something over.
Now, is that a ghost walking across the roof of your house in the middle of the night?
Oh, come on.
Or is it a super fat raccoon up there?
Oh, yeah. We had a super fat raccoon walking across our roof once.
He tells me, he's like, it sounded like a man. There was a man walking on the roof of the house last night while we were sleeping.
Yeah.
It was a raccoon.
Yeah, well, you think it was a raccoon. Did you go out there and look? No.
No, because I was asleep.
Yeah. And she wanted me to go out and look, and I'm like, I'm not going out there until daylight.
He's terrified of raccoons. It's hilarious.
I'm terrified of raccoons, and I'm terrified of people who walk on your roof at night.
That's true.
That
Those are
shouldn't be
scary.
there.
Maybe I'll see if there's a story that says something about raccoons.
Oh. Be careful how you spell it, because it's Raccoons or Raccoons. Or maybe somebody might spell it Raconz.
Raccoons.
Raccoons.
There's actually almost 2 full pages
Of
with the
stories
word
about
raccoon in it.
All right, great. Well,
Yeah. Should I read a random one?
yeah, read a random one. This is interesting.
Okay, this is a random story, guys. I don't know if it's... Sometimes the stories that we got over the years were really good, but not written well, and vice versa. So please forgive me. I've not read this over, so I have no idea what we're in for. But this
This ought to be good.
this story is called Phantom Car, and it was submitted by Anonymous in Laura, Texas, USA, October of 2002. One Sunday night, not too many months ago, I was out with my carbon copy, my 4-year-old daughter, Shaughnessy. She'd had a late nap, and I decided to tire her out with a shopping jaunt for life's necessities and a drive through some of our secluded suburban woods near the park and a historic cemetery, which I captured some ectoplasm on film from, but that's another story. Ooh.
Ectoplasm on film. Sorry, go on.
We talked about that in an episode recently.
Yeah.
In our seance episode.
In our special seance episode. What is ectoplasm? Well, now you know.
Yeah. It was about 11 p.m. and we had seen a few possums, a little raccoon family. That's probably all the raccoon we're going to get out of this story, but that's okay. A handful of deer and an armadillo. I wish we had armadillos here.
I don't.
Why?
Because that would mean that we lived in Texas.
Well, yeah, it's too hot there, but I just wish armadillos lived here.
No, they're creepy.
They're cute. What are you talking about?
They're in the rodent family.
No, they're not.
They look like it. They're not dogs, that's for sure. They're not cats either. And they're not squirrels.
Anything that's not a cat or a dog is immediately
Isn't armadillo
a rodent.
the one that looks like a tank?
Kind of looks like a potato bug with a tail and a really cute nose.
Yeah, and it's the size of a 10
Like a
extra large
raccoon.
pizzas or something, or a raccoon.
Americans will use anything but the metric system. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the story. We do this often, looking for animals and then pulling over to watch them and quietly talk about them and how they live, what they eat, factoids, really, enjoying quiet conversation, and being together sometimes over a snack. We had just finished... Sorry, we also edit that out. We had just finished watching the raccoon family cross the road and play in the ditch. I pulled up to the intersection, turned past the cemetery, and then onto another secluded wood-covered road. This road had given us, particularly the kids, the creeps on occasion. This is odd because my mother lives in the middle of the national forest and we live out in the burbs, so a lot of our time is spent in the boonies. It was very nice outside, and as usual, we had the windows open and the radio off. It was very dark, and this road is fairly straight. At the end of the road, it is cleared out some, and you can see cars traveling on the next busy street. And if they turn, you can watch them pull onto this road. We had been driving slowly up and down this road, pulling over when we would see the reflection of eyes to see whatever creature we had found and watch it for a while. We had just crossed the first bridge when suddenly headlights appeared at the end of the road. I had seen no car turn onto the road, no silhouette showing brake lights or signals, no glare of headlights arcing through a turn. As it approached, it was silent. I had pulled over just after crossing the bridge. Something just wasn't right. These lights weren't the usual white glow, so I thought they must be the new halogen blue brights. But no, something was still off. They had no shape consistent with the major car manufacturers, almost perfectly round, and they showed no signs of bumping up and down on the potholes of this oft-washout road. As it got closer, I judged its speed to be about 35 to 40 miles per hour. I noticed I could see none of the amber parking/fog lights framing these headlights. I heard no engine. I could see no outline of a car body, but the outline of treetops between the lights. No license plate, nothing. No grill, no shiny reflective painted metal. Shaughnessy and I watched silently in awe as it passed. As it went by, we heard or felt no passing wind. Again, we heard no engine, no wind, nothing. As a matter of fact, we could still hear the water gurgling in the creek. I watched in my panoramic rear view as it passed, and Sean turned around to watch. We were almost trance-like, and as it came even with my Jeep, the lights disappeared. No noise, no wind, no taillights, no glare of headlights in the treetops behind us. Just gone. I didn't say anything as I didn't want to scare my daughter. I just took off slowly and said, "I think we should get back home now." "Okay, Mommy, but let's come back soon and look for that spooky car again." Thank you again to Anonymous in Laura, Texas, USA for submitting Phantom Car in October of 2002. Thank you. That was a really good story, actually. I liked that one.
So wait, was there a raccoon driving the car?
Do you think that that's a real question?
I think it's a real question. I asked it, and whether or not it's a legitimate question is another thing entirely. But
yeah, no, I don't think
that's a good one. You should bookmark that one, which you can do.
We can read it on a future episode. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like all like spooky and stuff with the music in the background, junk like that.
I'm trying to get back to. Okay, just keep the friends entertained for a second.
Oh, no pressure. Earlier in the episode, I grabbed this movie down from our DVD collection.
What is it?
It's called Deadstream.
Oh.
We've talked about this before. This movie. It's a Shudder original. It's from like 2023 or something.
Yeah.
It's about a disgraced internet personality who attempts to win back his followers by live streaming one night alone in a haunted house. But when he accidentally pisses off a vengeful spirit, sorry for the language, his big comeback event becomes a real-time fight for his life.
Yeah.
And this is a comedy horror.
It is. And I have to say that the first time we watched it, like, I loved the first half. I was so into the first half.
Yeah.
I was like, this is already one of my favorite movies ever. And then the last half,
Lost you?
I don't know what happened, but I fell off in the last half, and I was like, and
well, I think
I didn't love it anymore after that, and I was really disappointed. But
yes,
we kept talking about it, and talking about it, and quoting it, and talking about it.
Yeah, that's when you know you got a good movie.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we need to give it another chance, because clearly there was something about it that was really good and worth talking about. So maybe we should watch it again and just see if maybe the ending wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I must have been asleep or something, because when we watched it again, and I was like, this movie is brilliant start to finish. What is the matter with me?
I think I know what happened with the movie.
Yeah.
First of all, it was 88 minutes, which is just, 2 minutes shy of an hour and a half. And sometimes movies move at such a fast pace that when they hit the 80-minute mark, you're like, okay, is it over yet? Because the pace has been established.
Yeah.
And you're expecting something. A lot happened in that movie in the first 15 minutes.
It's so dense.
It's very dense. It's very fast.
There's a lot of exposition at the beginning, but it's like, it's not irritating exposition. It's just basically like telling this guy's story and why he was like banned from live streaming. It's not YouTube, but it's something similar.
Yeah.
So he's banned from live streaming, and this is like his return. And it's hilarious because he's trying really hard not to like break any rules, so that
like swearing.
Yeah. So he doesn't get banned again. So he's trying really hard not to swear. But yeah, we won't give examples of how he's trying not to swear, but it's hilarious.
I'll be gonna check it out.
But yeah, he throughout the whole thing, he's really concerned about getting demonetized again, and
which is the
but
which
the guy who's
purgatory.
the guy who stars in it. What is his name? Do you have it there? Hello, Vince. You just had the DVD in your hand.
I have no idea where it went. Oh, it went behind me. Winters, Joseph Winters.
Yeah.
I
think he wrote and directed it as well as starred in it.
Written and directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winter.
Yeah.
Another power couple. I like power couples.
Oh, I think you're suggesting that we're a power couple?
I don't know if power would be the right word.
I don't either.
Would it be like pressure couple or like
Yeah. Or paranoid couple.
Paranormal couple.
Paranormal couple.
Surely.
There we go.
Paranormal super couple. Are we super?
I'm super.
I look
but
ridiculous in capes, so I don't think I can be a super nothing. But
Cape.
I mean, seriously.
We have a few people watching. I know we kind of sprung this, guys, on this. Wow, we sprung this on you guys.
Sprang. Sprang.
So okay.
People get that wrong.
Sproinged. We sproinged this on you.
Yeah.
If anybody watching wants to pop into chat and tell us if something spooky happened to you, or
They're like, it's happening right now. I'm seeing Vince in the flesh, and I'm not liking it.
It is scary. Yeah,
hey,
I agree.
Hi. Anyway. So check out Deadstream. He's dying for followers. It's on Shudder, but we nabbed the DVD because we didn't want to keep paying for Shudder just to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And it's a fine motion picture.
Wow, you're really selling it there.
Yes.
With your mid-Atlantic accent.
It is a fine picture.
Don't frighten the people, please.
They call it the Blair Witch Project for Gen Z, and that kind of offends me a little bit. We're Gen X.
That's right, baby. But
the coolest generation.
Don't say it's Blair Witch for Gen Z, because I think that
Blair Witch wasn't a comedy, first of all.
Right. Well, and it also has some baggage to it. Like, there are 3 kinds of people. Those who have never seen the Blair Witch Project, but still have an opinion of it. Those who love the Blair Witch Project, and those who hate it. So it's a little polarizing. I would not compare it to the Blair Witch Project at all.
Well,
I mean,
think
it's
that
considered a found footage, even though he's technically live streaming, but it's really, it follows all the same rules as like the found footage genre, I think.
another French word there for you.
Guys, seriously, I try and edit all of this stuff out but this is the stuff I deal with on a daily basis.
Did you notice that Freya stopped chewing and whining?
Yeah, she got bored.
She's angry.
Oh, is she angry? Hey, do you want to read a story to the folks?
Oh, no.
Why?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me put my...
Do you need a prompt?
Yeah, that's the game I wanted to play.
Okay.
I'm gonna wear my story reading hat.
Okay. His story reading hat. I can see
What?
a new children's program coming up. Let's put our hats on, kids. It's story time.
It's time to read the story. Exactly. Is my feather on properly?
Yeah, what you don't know is whenever we record episodes, he has to put on the story reading hat. He can't.
Yeah,
he
that's
actually,
good. I like that.
He actually can't read without it.
I actually can't read, but what are we gonna do about that?
Not much.
Do you want to give me a prompt or?
Or how about
something good?
Oh, I was gonna give you something bad.
No, something good.
Oh, okay. Beer. Beer is good.
Beer?
Yeah,
okay.
I bet. Yeah. There's stories with the word beer. All right.
Squatter's Pub Ghostly Encounter.
You already read that one.
Written and submitted by Vince.
No, don't. Not that one.
This is the story about when. Let me get rid of this ridiculous hat.
He's not reading it, so he can't read it.
It's a story that I submitted to the website in February of 2023. About we were eating at a pub, Squatter's Pub in Salt Lake City, and I had to go to the bathroom. And that's not going where you think it's going.
Well, the emphasis on bathroom says otherwise.
I had to go relieve myself. Well, I had to go wash my hands. Let's put it that way. And they wouldn't let me in the kitchen to do that, so I had to find the bathroom. The bathroom was down a long flight of steps. And I was like, what is going on here? And something creepy happened to me while I was down there.
Yeah, so go read it. Anyway, read a different story.
So read that story, because she won't let me read my own story.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I have a story called Bed and Breakfast.
I think we've read that one.
Rocking.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
And
kind of long. That's not too long. All right, here he goes.
This story was submitted in October of 2010 by Connor in Kilkenny, Ireland. And it goes like this. My wife and I live in a 2-story house in the suburbs. And suburbs is capitalized for some reason. It shouldn't be.
Stop.
I'm an author. She runs an antique shop. I like these guys. I'm an author and she ran an art gallery once. That's kind of cool.
Just read the story.
My wife brings over stuff sometimes when there's not enough room over there, and she wants to, give it a temporary place of residence. One such item was the rocking chair. All right, this is getting good.
Yeah.
We placed it in our living room. At first, it seemed nice. Out of place with my decor, but okay as a temporary thing. Well, it soon turned out to be more than it appeared. My wife, when entertaining friends, was thrown violently out of the chair when it swung forward.
Ooh.
Another time, my mother was rocking on the chair when it tipped backwards and she fell in a heap on the floor. Its creaking sounded like mocking laughter. This is a good story.
Yeah.
When me and the guys were watching the game, the chair jerked and I spilled beer all over my friend.
Oh, no.
Because the theme is beer, but, you know,
They
apparently
know.
spilled beer.
They were paying attention.
Okay. I went to sit down on the chair, and it was like there was somebody already in it. You could hear breathing coming from it sometimes. And the last straw was when I looked into the mirror and I saw an old woman sitting in the chair. She was staring at me with hatred in her eyes. I tried to take it out of the house, but it wouldn't fit through the sitting room door. Would it grow?
How'd they get it in?
Maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe they had to put it together.
Yeah. I had just got it in days before, and now I couldn't get it out. I set at it with my axe.
Oh no, that escalated quickly.
I hated the thing that much. A stray piece of wood caught me in the leg, but I didn't go to the hospital until after I'd thrown the pieces of the chair onto the grass, doused them in kerosene, and set them alight. Wow, dude. That's overkill. The haunting has stopped, but the grass has not grown back where I burnt it.
I wonder what.
This is good gardening tips as well as, you know, home decor tips. So you tell me, have years of writing fantasy left me with an overactive imagination? Or was the spirit of an abusive old woman haunting the chair? Because I find it hard to believe, yet it happened to me. That was from Connor in Ireland in October of 2010. A story called Rocking, which is found on the Castle of Spirits website. That's just an example of all the crazy stuff we have on our website. What do you think of that story? I mean,
I have to say that he really glossed over a really important part of that story, and I'm a little bit concerned for Connor. And Connor, if you're out there listening, we would love to hear from you, because I want to make sure that you're okay. Because my concern is that when you were chopping on that rocking chair...
Chopping on the rocking?
That's right.
All right.
Whatever that meant. And that chunk of wood came off and stabbed him in the leg. He injected the ghost. He injected himself with the ghost. She is now within you, Connor.
That's why she was not in the house any longer after that.
Yep. Because she's now in Connor's psyche.
No, in his blood.
In his blood.
He's straight mainline ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
Yeah, that's what we're going to call the episode. Mainlining Ghost.
Mainlining Ghosts. You know, we try to find like really cool titles for the episodes, and I think that we may have one. Write that one down.
Mainlining Ghost.
Write that one down.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that's you know what upsets me about that is that we did an episode like last year sometime, and it was about haunted objects.
Mm-hmm. And we called it Haunted Objects.
Yeah.
We were really clever.
We were going for those keywords, key phrases that I'm sure everybody in the world I'm going to go Google, and I want videos about haunted objects.
Anyway, we did a Haunted Objects episode.
And that's a good one. For that, I'm surprised that we didn't find that one before.
We can always do another Haunted Objects episode.
We literally have almost 5,000.
It's hard to wade through them, yeah.
And, you know, they're not like ranked or rated by length or quality or anything like that, other than just when they were submitted and title.
Oh, you know what? Like I do have something else to read. Sorry.
Okay.
You know, the lounge, if you've been following us for a while, you know you can go to the lounge and...
it's a part of our website.
Yeah, they know that.
Yeah.
castlespirits.com/lounge. Anyway, you can send us a message. You can tell us whatever it is you want to tell us. You can tell us a story or whatever. So, Sarah messaged us in the lounge and she said, oh, come on.
When was this?
I don't know. It doesn't have a date on it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Recent.
Yeah, it's within the last couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm so happy to see your website still exists. I'm 36 years old, and I remember finding your website when I was around 10 years old.
No way.
I literally spent days on here reading stories and looking at the photo gallery. I remember going back to school and telling my friends spooky stories. I eventually told him of the website, and we would talk on the phone every day at 5 p.m. sharp and read each other's stories until one of our parents kicked us off the phone. I would look through the photo gallery with my mom and tell her about the photos that were submitted, hoping I could scare her. I would ask everyone I knew if they had ghost stories, and I would type them up on my computer. I think I submitted one of my stepfather's stories too. To this day, I type up every paranormal encounter I have or any personal story a friend has told to me. I currently reside in the U.S. I moved from Canada when I was 32. My time spent in Canada was in a town called Peterborough, Ontario. I was always fascinated with that town and the mysteries I would hear growing up, and I have been working on a dark history book for the past few years. I would be very interested in sharing the lore with you someday. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I even used your website in grade 7. Oh, I used it in grade 7 to do my speech on urban legends. I can't thank you enough for existing back then. Your website really helped me understand that I'm not a weirdo for finding interest in the paranormal. No. I was on your website from the time I got done with my homework until bedtime. Tonight, I was browsing the paranormal board on Reddit, and the memory of the website popped in my head. I'm so happy you're still around, and you guys have a podcast now. I'm excited to listen. I do have one question.
What?
What happened to the photo gallery? Haha. Thank you again, your spooky friend, Sarah. Sarah, we love you. You are our new spooky friend.
That's cool. What's the name of the what was the name of the town that they lived in?
Petersboro.
Petersboro.
Yeah.
Just Boro. I'm gonna look and see. I'm gonna search.
Or no, not Peters. It's Peterborough.
Peter.
So Sarah, what happened to the the photo gallery? So the website has been passed around a little bit. We did not start the website. It was started by Rowena Gilbert in Australia in 97, right?
1997.
And she ran the website until she unfortunately passed away in 2008. At which point the website was passed to her webmaster, Don, and he ran the website until 23 when he passed it on to us.
22, wasn't it?
22? Was it 20? Maybe it was 22. Something like that.
Anyway.
And so what I'm getting at is in all of these transitions, some things got lost. There are actually stories, unfortunately, that got lost for one reason or another. Every once in a while, somebody would email and say, hey, can you take my story down for, whatever their reasons were. Or when things got transferred over from one server to another, things disappeared or got broken or got forgotten, whatever. And unfortunately, the photo gallery has been gone for many years. Like, when we took over, the photo gallery was already gone. Like, I think it was still on the website, but there was literally nothing in it. We looked to try and see if we could find the photo gallery. Like,
did we try looking through the
we did.
Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine?
Well, no, it's probably
although
it could still be there in the Wayback Machine. Maybe we'll look at it, and we can at least get like some screenshots.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And maybe put it up. It won't be the individual photos, but I mean, at least we can have like a little.
Yeah.
A little Castle of Spirits scrapbook of memories.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
She...
Ooh, and on that scrapbook of memories page, we can have it play the old Castle of Spirits music.
Yeah.
Rowena had this really cool MIDI music
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where she got it from, but it was, like in the 90s when you would pull up a website, a lot of times they would have music playing on them. And it was annoying, but it was also kind of cool. It's retro. Like, websites don't have music that automatically plays anymore. And if they do, it's annoying. But
yes,
we could put that MIDI music on.
That'd be cool, yeah.
That would be fun.
Be nice.
Put the old logos up there.
Yeah. Yeah, our own little Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Now, I have something special planned that I just came up with.
Okay.
What did she say? She said in her email there, her little message, that she started visiting the website around 1998 or so.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, well.
The late 90s,
Mm-hmm.
when she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And
26 years ago, yeah. So it would have been in the first year or two of the website.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she submitted one of her, was it her stepfather's stories?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think so. Let's see if we can find it.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, you did?
I do believe I found it. That's why just a minute ago I asked what was the name of the city, the town they live in, or Peterborough.
All right, but
So
read it.
here's what I found. You'll have to let us. What was her name again?
Sarah.
Sarah, you'll have to let us know. Wait, she's watching, right?
I don't know.
Sarah, if you're not watching, but seriously, you'll have to let us know if this is your stepfather's story, called Port Perry Ghost, submitted by Brett Andrews in Ontario, Canada, in April of 1998. It's not terribly long either, so I can handle this one. Well, the story that follows is all true. I live in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, which is not a bad place to live, no doubt. Near my town is a smaller village about half an hour away called Port Perry. It is very old and has a lot of history. I've heard stories of ghost fairies on the lake on which it is situated, Lake Scugog. Hope I said that right.
We don't speak Canadian, sorry.
And others, but the one that is the truth and happens nightly is this.
He's put on the drama voice.
Well, you know.
Okay.
A while ago in the 60s, there was a man traveling home one night during a storm on his motorcycle. He was taking a small access road that led to some cottages that everyone knew about. But what he didn't know was that a farmer had just recently purchased that land. The farmer had put up a barbed wire fence to... Oh, I can see where this is coming. Where this is going.
I've read this story.
Did you really?
Yeah, I remember this story.
The farmer had put up a barbed wire... Well, don't ruin it for everybody. Don't. Just listen
Well,
to me.
I was just about to.
Don't. The farmer had put a barbed wire fence up to keep the cattle in and bisected the road, not telling anyone. He assumed they would find out. Well, the man on the motorcycle came driving along late at night and ran into the fence, not seeing it, and decapitated himself.
That's grim.
The farmer was questioned, and eventually everyone forgot.
Just forgot.
I mean, hopefully it took many years for them to forget.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't decapitate himself. The farmer decapitated him. Okay. People say that if you drive along the old road at night in the opposite direction the man was traveling, you'll see the light coming at you. That is exactly what I saw. Some friends and I were parked down the road watching and waiting for the light. We thought it was all a hoax until, well, we saw it all right. It started out small in the middle of a field and then grew bigger, coming closer. We all felt really cold and we watched in awe. Man, I tell you, I almost ran. It was scary. After about 30 seconds, though, it faded away. Nothing was there. We sat there and we waited to see it again. We all saw it 4 more times that night, and we've been back a few times since. Some nights you can see the taillight as if it's turning around. There's also a rock where the motorcyclist's head is said to have rolled to a stop. Oh, that's grim.
Yeah.
If you stand, apparently people didn't forget, right?
Right? It sounds like
It
nobody
became lore.
forgot.
Apparently, eventually nobody cared anymore. That's what, okay.
No,
We
don't.
care.
See, that would be something I would edit out of the podcast.
You be the judge.
Don't judge it.
If you stand or sit on it, the rock that is, during a rainstorm.
Not the head.
I was just thinking, if you stand or sit on the head, is it still there? If you stand or sit on it, the rock, during a rainstorm, you'll become either very ill or be thrown from it. I was going to say you'll become very wet because it's raining. You'll be thrown from it. I have been back in the field during the day and at night and have found not a trace of anything. So was he actually talking about the head?
No, he's
Okay.
not talking about the head.
Well, he said he didn't find anything. The only thing that knows the truth are the trees and grasses growing in the field.
Mm-hmm.
True story. And there you have it. Port Perry Ghost from Brett in Ontario, Canada in April of 1998. Sarah's father-in-law.
What? Stepfather.
Stepfather.
And we don't know that for sure, but Sarah let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good story. I love ghost light stories. I know we did an episode on ghost lights. You
Yeah.
might have read that story on there, but
Yeah.
I love ghost lights. And I've told the story before about I did see a ghost light, or what I thought was a ghost light, many years ago. It was probably 1998, maybe 99.
You saw a ghost light?
Yeah, I told you about it.
Are you talking about the cemetery one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legit. Tell the story.
Well, I've told it before.
Well, they haven't heard it.
All right, I'll tell it again. The abridged version.
Yeah.
So we're at this cemetery in the 90s. I was with a ghost hunting group. And the cemetery was kind of rectangular shaped like that. And it had a road that came up the middle, a road that went all the way around the edge, and then like bisected it, that way. So we're there and it's still daylight. Like the sun is low. It's almost night, but it's either just barely setting or, whatever. So it's still light out, is the point. We're there with kind of a large group. That night was a larger group than normal. So half of us were on one half of the cemetery, where the road intersects. And half of us were on the other side of the cemetery.
Did you guys have walkie-talkies?
No.
Oh.
But it's a fully open cemetery. You can see from one side to the other.
Right.
You've been there. It's not very big. So I was with the group on this half of the cemetery, and we're looking over at the group on this half, and they're all like huddled together. And we can tell they're like looking at something and following something, and we're like, what is going on over there? So we walk over there and we're like, what are you guys doing? And somebody says, oh, there's a light. There's this little light flying around. And me, the skeptical believer, I don't know what to call myself.
Were you a skeptical believer back then?
Yeah. I've always been super skeptical of...
What about the people that you ghost hunted with? Were they like diehard believers, or were they also
No.
skeptics?
We always looked for reasons, like what could have caused that. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're like, what are you looking at? And they're telling us this light, and we're like, sure. And then all of a sudden, I saw it. It looked kind of like a little Christmas light. Like, I was going to show you the ceiling because we have little lights. But, like the little tiny Christmas lights. It kind of looked like that. Remember, it is still daylight. Like, it's not pitch black out.
Was it near Christmas?
No. It was summer. So this little light is flying around. And it's not, we don't have fireflies, lightning bugs. And it wasn't green, it was white. And it didn't pulse. And it wasn't irregular, it was just on. It was just this solid little white light. And a lot like the story that I read it, about the car, the woman with her daughter, when they're looking at animals and this car is coming toward them and there's no sound. Yeah. There's no outline around like where the car would be. It's just the lights. And that was exactly what we experienced there. And we watched it I remember by the time we were done seeing it, it was dark. So we watched it for a while, at least an hour. And at one point, I remember putting my hand out like this, and that little light came like this, and it just kind of scooted over the top of my hand, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't hear anything. There was no like sound of a bug, like a buzz. There was nothing. And it's daylight. I can't stress that enough. This little light goes over my hand, and I can clearly see there is nothing to it. There's not a body. There's not wings. It's just a light. And we watched that thing and kind of followed it around the cemetery for at least an hour. Like I said, it was dark by the time we were done seeing it. I guess they saw it again one other time a month or so later. I wasn't with them, so I didn't see it that time. But yeah.
So, and it was not because there are no self-illuminating bugs.
As far as I know, yeah, there aren't any. Yeah, I've never seen a self-illuminating bug, and I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah, my family, when I was a kid, we used to live in Maryland, and Durwood, Maryland. I was a kid, I don't know, and I remember there were lightning bugs, fireflies, and I haven't seen one of those things with my naked eye or my clothed eye in at least 45 years. I was in utero still at the time.
What?
I'm kidding. Of course. I didn't want to age myself. Thank you for that.
Okay.
In 35 years, I haven't seen them, but it's still vivid to it is such a sight to see. Fireflies
okay.
Right in your face.
Yeah. Landing
on your hands.
Yeah.
You can capture them and put them in a jar.
No, please don't do that.
We didn't do that, I don't think.
They're endangered now.
And it was beautiful. One of the most,
from what I understand,
beautiful things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
I would love to see them.
But you didn't. But you knew what it was.
Yeah.
You could tell that there was something attached to it. It's like, how's that bug making light?
Yeah. He's
got a light bulb screwed into him. But yeah.
That's not how fireflies work.
Yeah, it is. It is. I looked it up.
Not.
Check. Beg to differ. Check it. Anyway, just kidding. Now she's actually checking.
No, I'm not. I'm
okay.
seeing if there's another
there was a comment
message we should read. Oh, I just want to read one more comment. This was submitted by Donna. She's responding to the Sudbrink calls episode that we did. If you haven't heard the Sudbrink calls, you have to listen to that episode. That's probably my favorite episode that we've done. The Sudbrink calls are so terrifying to me, and I don't know why. And I don't even know what I believe about them, but it's a great story. So anyway,
just to give them a recap of what the Sudbrink calls are.
No, just go listen to the episode.
Well, it's really cool. It's creepy.
It is really cool and creepy. So Donna says, that was interesting. It so reminded me of a tape recorder running out of battery power, which I thought too, but I don't think that's what it was. But if this is a hoax, it took some planning after the first call. 100%. That person had to think on their feet and do it really fast. I don't know. I guess I need to research the info. My deceased cousin was a Sudbrink. Interesting.
No way.
Yeah. I'll need to have a look at this Gary out of curiosity. Till next time, stay spooky. Donna, you stay spooky yourself, girl. We love it. Yeah, we have a couple comments in chat. NPC1138, flabbergasted. You guys are going live. We do love to flabber some gast.
I flabbered my gas tonight.
Never expected that. So cool to see you. Thank you. Unfortunately, it's the worst timing for me as I have to work tomorrow. Happy you're back and from the long hiatus. We're happy too. Thank you for being here. And something wolfish. What you saw was an itty bitty UFO, like that episode of Twilight Zone with Agnes Moorehead.
That's a great
I don't
one.
remember that one, but I do love Agnes Moorehead. What's that episode?
You would get me with the title.
The Invaders.
The Invaders. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of the most impactful Twilight Zone episodes I've ever seen. So Agnes Moorehead plays a woman who lives alone in a, it's a cabin in the woods type thing.
That's in Dora from Bewitched, right? Her mother.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
And she's visited by a little UFO.
Really? I don't remember this one.
I mean, it unfolds throughout the. She hears something on her roof. And it's the only Twilight Zone episode, as far as I recall, or one of the only Twilight Zone episodes where there's almost no dialogue.
Really?
Because it's her by herself,
Yeah.
kind of waging battle against this marauding entity that's trying to get into her house. You remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah.
Where the aliens are coming to get the little boy?
I don't remember. It's been a long... I think I saw that movie when I was in junior high.
What's the name of the
Been a long
actress? The name of the actress that plays the mom in A Christmas Story?
Oh, yeah. I know her name, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, she was the one of the leads in Close Encounters. Close Encounters is it's a Steven Spielberg movie, and it's fantastical, and over the years everybody's like, oh, Steven Spielberg, this and that. But at the time, that movie was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the whole... the UFOs had been a topic of discussion for decades at that point. But it wasn't like it is now. There was still a lot of mystery around it. And Steven Spielberg...
And now we know everything.
Yeah, right. And Steven Spielberg really went all out. And, there are some scenes in that movie, just like there are in Jaws, that really make you wish that Steven Spielberg had made a horror movie. Or maybe he still can make a horror movie. Because he's got a gift for it. Jaws is considered... it's not a horror movie. It's considered... I think of it as an action thriller, but it's scary. I almost said something bleep-worthy. It's darn scary.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you, by the way.
No, that's not what we say.
Gesundheit.
No, that's not what we say.
Oppa!
Oppa!
I don't know if that works or not.
It works.
But anyway, there was a scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Just edit this part out.
Okay, yeah, I'll edit this out.
Where the UFOs are trying to get to the kid. And there's his little toys are going crazy.
Oh, I think I remember that. And they're floating or something.
Something like that.
Right.
And then he gets kidnapped by the UFOs. And then he's eventually returned. It's a very happy ending.
Cool.
But I'm convinced that Twilight Zone episode, The Invaders, was heavily influenced Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Excellent. We'll have to watch that episode again. Thanks for bringing that up, Something Wolfish. Yeah. Invoking the Twilight Zone is always a good conversation starter.
I take my hat off to you.
Your hat's already off. There we go.
Something wolfish.
That's for you, Something Wolfish. So, I don't know. We've been going now for 70 minutes. So, it's kind of long episodes. Maybe we should wrap it up. do you have any final words for the kids?
That sounds cryptic. Final words.
Final words for this episode, doofus.
Well, let me tell you something.
Maybe that was a wrong question to ask. He's going to impart some old guy wisdom now.
No, let me tell you something. I have nothing to say.
Oh, that's cool. That's a first, actually, I believe. We don't have the music coming down the hall today, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no music coming down the hall to get us or anything like that.
Maybe the illusion is broken. Now they know that we don't actually live in a castle, or that we're not broadcasting from an actual ancient haunted castle.
No, but the house that we live in is
Not haunted.
it's old. We don't think it's haunted. We have done one séance,
Yeah.
a couple of Ouija board sessions.
One.
I tried to communicate with the spirits, and weirdly enough, I tried to communicate with the spirit of the house.
Yeah, you talked about that in the seance episode.
Yeah, where I started playing like old 50s. This house was built in 55. And not a lot has changed. I swear to gosh.
We even have the same
front...
carpet. I'm just kidding. We don't.
No, God, no. Sometimes it seems that way. But, sometimes when I look out the front window of this house, you can just, because, sometimes everybody's gone, there's no cars. And you can just blur your eyes. And you can imagine that you're 1955, 1965, 75 on down the line.
It's just the cars that are throwing the illusion off.
Right. And you know that the mountains in the distance haven't changed. Mm-hmm. You know that this window hasn't changed. At least I don't think it's been changed.
And Vince hasn't changed much since 1955 either.
Yeah, okay. 55 being the operative number, but not 19. And so, and the lawn is the same, the street's the same, it hasn't undergone very many changes. And, it's easy to feel that you can travel through time when you're in a place like this. Mm. Did you ever, for example, I don't know, I wonder sometimes.
I thought he had nothing else to say.
I've got lots to say.
All right, you wonder sometimes.
I wonder sometimes what was happening in this house and who lived there when, on the day I was born. On the day that I graduated from high school or something like that, the day you and I met, who was living in this house? There are things, there are touchstones that tie us back to our very own pasts and even our futures. Who's going to live here in 20 years?
He's getting existential. I think.
I sure as hell don't want to live here in 20 years.
I think that means we gotta go. So anyway, let me jump over here.
She's cutting me off.
I'm kidding. Oh, look, you can visit us at castleofspirits.com and submit your stories. Or hit the lounge and tell us whatever you want to tell us. We also have a phone number.
We do.
I can't remember what it is. I will never remember that phone number, but it's on our contact page on castleofspirits.com.
Now, you guys, if you call, make sure that what you do is you tell your story or whatever you want to say in about 2.5 minutes, because it cuts off at 3 minutes.
Yeah, and we thought maybe we can piece them together. It doesn't work. It's too much. So just tell us something real quick or ask a question or whatever you like. Don't worry, we're not going to answer when you call, so you're not going to be bothering us.
You can call at 2 a.m.
Yeah, we don't even hear the phone ring. Give us a call. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Oh, look. Now we have Kim Parsons. I've totally enjoyed you guys. Thanks so much. Thank you, Kim. And Annie, my friend Annie. It was fun to hang out with you guys. I'm glad that you were here, Annie. And
if you guys want to see more of this, just let us know.
Yeah, let us know how you liked this, and maybe we can do these Saturday night frights a little more
That's right.
often.
It's Saturday night, isn't it?
Thank you, Gail. Gail said great episode.
Oh, thank you. And I think what the plan is that we're gonna make this we're gonna podcast this out also. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering what the hell's going on,
check out our YouTube channel.
Check out our YouTube channel. We're actually we're trying to drive people to the YouTube channel so that
so we can get monetized.
So we can make money.
Just kidding.
No. This is a labor of love, if nothing else.
Kim said, I love this. Do it again.
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
If you have any suggestions about whether or not I should wear a tie next time, I kind of dressed up today. I was.
He's just got a weird 80s white tie with a zipper.
I have look at my. I just want to show you guys my T-shirt because I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, dude, I don't know. When I was growing up, I mentioned it earlier.
Oh no, he's story time.
I mentioned it earlier. I used to watch Creature Feature with Count Gore Duvall, and he's still around, and but he used to be on TV in Washington D.C. when I was a kid, so I was into it, right? And he's still around, and I have a T-shirt that Jane bought me. This is the Count, and the signature is down there, but we don't want to look down there. It's anyway.
Don't be weird.
It's just it's a very signature-y.
Please do it again. All right, something wolfish. We will.
So next time if you want to see me with my Count Gore shirt on, let me know. If you know somebody who likes Count Gore, let him know to watch this show and to listen to this podcast.
This is also stuff that I would edit out because whenever we try to end the episode, Vince keeps trying. Okay. Maybe I'll say this and that'll be the end. But then maybe I'll follow it up with this and that'll be the end. So I'm just going to cut him off right now. And we will see you guys again. Our next episode will be a normal episode. For the most part. Wake up. Okay. Have a great evening.
Thank you for listening. And if you like this podcast and this YouTube channel, tell a friend.
And if you hate it, you got to tell 2 enemies.
Yeah, because you got to give your enemies something that'll detonate.
Shh.